Hi and welcome to Tiffany Talks Tarot. Today we are on the court cards. Every tarot reader's worst nightmare because nobody really knows what it is. Yes, whether it means a bird, a plane, a superhero, a man, a woman, a boy, a child, an object, a situation. But let's just strip all of that away. And let's just look at it as there's two ways of how I can kind of get over the essence of the court cards to you. One of them is talking to you about the maturation of that element. So that's why I'm doing the court cards as families rather than as separate videos for each card. Okay, so that's one way to talk to you about the maturation of the energy of that element. So today with the court cards, of course, that is water. And the other way is to actually talk to you as if they were people, because by kind of seeing the traits of the court cards and then thinking about who you know who is like that, it can really help your understanding. But don't get caught up in, when you're reading them, in trying to make out whether they're a person or a situation, or, use your intuition, look at the cards that surround it. But the main thing is that it will be asking for the person to be a certain way, even if it does represent someone outside of themselves, that person's there as a mirror in some way, shape or form. So I hope that helps you if you get to a place in a reading where you're like, oh no, there's a court card, what does it mean? Yeah, it's like bring it back home. Okay, so let's start with the Page of Cups. So I'm saying he, but it can be a girl. But we're going to talk about the Page of Cups as if it was a he, and it would be the most effeminate boy. It really does talk about that spirit that's very effeminate. So it's not the tomboy, if I can speak. It's not the rough and tough boy. It's not the one that goes out there climbing trees and pulling girls' skirts down. The skirt that he gets to be behind is his mum's. Yeah, that's where you'll find this sensitive soul who has an imaginary friend for his friends, as you can see here with the fish. And, he communicates really well with the other side, which the fish kind of represents. It's the other side. It's in a world of water, a world where we can't be when we're alive, So that imagination is really strong, that ability to communicate with other realms or other places is much more likely than them being able to really communicate in this world, so to speak. Water signs. So we have Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces here. But it doesn't mean that if somebody is not a Cancer, Pisces or Scorpio that they are not a Page of Cups, because it could well just be that they have strong water in their chart that just doesn't happen to be their sun sign. And that makes them watery as such. Okay, so then we go on to the Knight of Cups in a minute, but what I will restate, because I've already said this on the swords, is that pages are messengers. So with the Page of Cups, you could have the message from your intuition or from someone like this, or, there's lots of oars. But just remember, pages are like aces. They are the newness. So in a way, you're seeing the Page of Cups as the Ace of Cups. So there could even be, if we look at it in terms of the Ace of Cups, a new relationship or a beautiful feeling of emotion, coming in as well. So pages are aces. They're also parts of the Fool. They're also messengers. And really what they are is just a representation of the newness of the element of cups. Okay, so really, if we look at this as a soul that came into being, this soul is really trying to learn how to be okay with so much sensitivity, and it can be quite overwhelming. So he's actually quite a vulnerable child, and one that just is very unable to kind of go out there in the big wide world like maybe other children could. So when he grows up, and as I said, it can still be a she, I am just using he for use of simplicity. So when he grows up, let's say university age, again, that's me boxholing, pigeonholing, boxing in. Yeah, just to make this simple and easy. So I'm going to tell you a little story about this family, yeah? So this is basically him or his older brother that has got to university age, but he's not really interested in studies. He's interested in writing poetry or songs and serenading every girl that comes his way who he loves to propose to. And he doesn't mean to be a heartbreaker, but it's just that he does love everyone. His heart is wide, wide, wide open. And so, we do have that Romeo kind of feel here with the Knight of Cups. And then let's look at Mum. So the Queen of Cups is one of the most maternal mothers there is in the world. So Cancer is the sign of the mother. My mother-in-law is Cancer, and she's very, very, very caring. My mother is Queen of Swords, so you couldn't get much different. So I was in quite a bit of shock when I went into a family that has the Queen of Cups as a mother, and I actually found it quite difficult because I'd been given a lot of freedom with this card, a lot of freedom in the air. And here in this element, it's a lot of, are you okay? And a lot of caring and a lot of worrying and a lot of supporting and a lot of like, oh my gosh, it's almost as if the whole self can kind of go into the child. So, again, it's like this is a family that cares so deeply. There may be, problems here with, boundaries, and where do things end and where do things begin, and like all of those types of things. As a working mum, I would say she's probably in counselling or an artist or a musician of some kind. Okay. And then we have the King of Cups. So the King of Cups, all kings represent maturation. So the page struggles with learning what to do with what he's been gifted in this life and who he is. The king has mastered it. So he dips his toe into his emotions and he rises above them. So he's totally in control of when he accesses them and when he doesn't access them. I have known a few Cancerian men, and I would say that sometimes it feels to me as if they get so overwhelmed by emotion that they cut off from it and they go almost sword-like. It's like they go from the heart and they go into the head. And I don't think that's quite the maturation that I'm talking about here. But I think it's on the way to. I think it's about that fine balancing of when to use logic and when to use emotion. And the king becomes the master, absolute master of being able to do that. I would say he's likely to be a social worker, a new age hippie, wear really radical shirts, maybe that embarrassing father a little bit, trying to be cool, or maybe he is cool. But that's what you have in the Cups family. So just to run through, kings also represent business, so way of being in business. Queens represent community, so something in community is calling this energy forward, yes, to be taken notice of. This here could represent a proposal. Knights are about opportunities. So this is opportunity of the heart or emotions, something presenting itself emotionally to you. And Page of Cups, messages of the heart. Okay, so I hope that you find that useful, and I look forward to seeing you on the Wands, which I'm going to do next, or chatting with you around how to work with the tarot so that your life becomes something that's full of magic, synchronicity, insight, awareness and connection. And if that sounds good to you, just click the YouTube description below. There's a link in there, and just fill that out and click send, and we can get on a call and talk about it, okay? Look forward to speaking to you or giving you more videos. Bye for now.